Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live stream. My name is David Matney with Nebraska Realty. And tonight, I thought it would be really interesting to interview someone who recently relocated back to the Omaha area. So tonight's guest is also a realtor. So we really have a great opportunity to gain some insight on the relocation process from someone who's a licensed professional. So uh, if you can hear me okay in the chat, if my sound's coming across okay, that'd be great if you could let me know in the chat. And then my guest tonight is Sam Gdowski, and I would like to welcome Sam to the program. Hey, Sam, welcome
Hey,
to the program.
hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being on tonight's show. Sam, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this crazy business.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from Nebraska. I grew up in Shelton, out by
Okay.
Kearney and Grand Island.
Okay.
Met my husband in college. He's from Fremont. So we
Okay.
both went to University of Nebraska. And from there, we started this crazy life of moving. So we moved to Minneapolis for a few years, and back to Lincoln, and then we moved to New Mexico. No, South
Wow.
Dakota.
Okay.
And then we went to New Mexico and then to Ohio. And then our last stop before here was Nashville for 10 years.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so, and
All
through that, I worked for a realtor part time
okay.
and um, worked in the back office of hers and really enjoyed it. And so thought, well, I'm going to get in this business. So here I am.
Okay, terrific. Now, you've been around to a lot of different places. Of all the places that you've been to, what would you say are your favorites?
I mean, they all have their different things. I mean, I had my three boys in New Mexico, so that's a soft spot for me. I got
Okay.
my grad degree there.
Okay.
Um, we had wonderful friends in Ohio. Absolutely loved it there. And then, of course, Nashville. I mean, you got to love Nashville. So, I mean,
Right.
I loved Minneapolis too. That was awesome.
Okay. Okay.
South
Now,
Dakota's the only one that's a little off, but I was like 24. So,
okay. Well, and that's something that happens quite a bit is in Nebraska, we have this thing called brain drain, and that's where people will go to UNL or UNO or here locally, and then after college, they decide to go elsewhere. So I think it's interesting as to um, when people come back. So when I heard your
mhm,
story, I'm like, I really wanted to bring you on the program. Now, how
mhm.
long were you in Nashville, and what made you decide to move back to Omaha?
Well, we were in Nashville for 10 years, and our kids all graduated from high school. We're in college, finishing college, and all of our families from Nebraska. I mean,
Okay,
so everyone but I have a sister that lives right across the border in Kansas, and my husband has a brother in St. Louis. So
okay,
otherwise, everybody's here except our kids. So
gotcha.
we were like, let's go home. I'm like,
No,
I mean, we felt like we missed out on so many things. We missed our friends, we missed our family. So
yeah,
we came home.
yeah. Okay, great. Now, what was your biggest concerns or hesitations about relocating back to Omaha?
Well, of course, it's leaving our two of our sons are still in Nashville, but
Okay,
there's no guarantee they'll stay there, right? And
right.
so one is actually back here in Omaha with us.
Okay,
So it was that. But then, I mean, and plus we had good friends there, but it was
okay.
one of those where we're like, let's get home. I mean, that really is it. Honestly, we wanted to get back here and just, we like to travel, we like to do things. And so it was just, if we make this our home base, we can still live our life and travel and do our things. So,
Gotcha. Now, before we came on the stream, you know, uh, I want to ask you what was the perception of your
mm,
friends in Nashville about um, Omaha and Nebraska when you said he was going back to Nebraska? What was their reaction
yeah.
with that?
Not great. People are very, very confused by the decision because, people are from Nashville, and it is a great city, but
Right.
they don't quite understand the pull of a Midwestern town. And I think Omaha is a hidden gem. I mean, it has great restaurants, it's the nice lakes, the walking trails, and I think people just don't understand it. Now, that is being said, but then I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she said her husband was coming here for the Warren Buffett conference
Hmm.
they have every year,
Yeah.
or Berkshire Hathaway, sorry,
Yeah.
and had said about how it's one of his favorite towns. And
Really?
so she's like, I'm
Okay.
coming next year. And in fact, I had some realtor friends that did come here quite frequently from Nashville that loved it when they come.
Is that
It's
right? Okay.
clean. Yeah,
Yeah.
people like it.
Awesome. Okay. Now, was moving back easier or harder than what you expected?
Mm, well, having moved a lot, and I just said the city moves, but within the cities we moved.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
um, um, it, it was easier in the sense that I didn't have to learn the city. I mean, I did because I never lived in Omaha and I
Mhm.
visited, but I never lived here. So, but I didn't, it wasn't all new to me.
Gotcha.
Um, so I would say that it was probably an easier move,
Okay.
honestly,
Okay. Okay.
because it was comfortable.
Gotcha. And we got some chat coming in. James is here. Hey, James, welcome to the show. And I
Mm.
always have a hard time saying it. Zaretha? Zaretha? Hiya. Okay. And then MH08. Hey, MH08. I try to say that fast. It's hard to say MH08 fast. Okay. I skipped
Mm,
going to
mm,
the store. Well, hey, thanks for, I hope, I don't want you to go hungry watching my program. So thank
mm.
you very much. Okay. And Zaretha, I always need help with that one. You're coming it through loud and clear. All right, terrific, guys. Thanks for the comments. All right, now Sam, what were the biggest you've had a lot of experience with moving. What was the biggest lesson you learned from relocating? What's something that you would
Um,
pass along to others that you would say that they need to know
yeah.
that if they're relocating?
Well, I will say that I feel like every realtor should move every few years just to stay in touch with the emotions and the stress of it. And we take so much stuff for granted as a realtor because we do it. We do the paperwork, we do all that. But I mean, the emotional toll moving takes. I mean, it's hard. And so I think having gone through it, my master's degree is in social work. I worked with
Okay.
families. And so I have that whole background. But I will tell you that I will be even more um, tuned in with the emotions of my people because it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, they say it's the three stresses of life are death,
Hmm.
divorce, and moving.
Move. Hmm.
And you're not the first
Yeah.
time I've
Yeah.
heard somebody say, every agent should move a couple years because yeah, of the stress
Mm.
involved and things like that. So you got a great
Yeah.
point there. Um, were there any mistakes, or and you've been doing this, when people relocated to Nashville, did you see any kind of mistakes that people made or something they should avoid?
Well, during the 2021 era, right? I mean, it was insanity. Let me tell you,
Right. Okay.
we I had buyers, and this is so true. We had 15-minute time slots to see a
Wow.
$750,000 house, and people were lined up, and you had 15 minutes to go in, make a decision, and buy,
Wow.
and leave. And all offers were
Wow.
due that night. It was like those cartoons that were being made about, how crazy it was, and it was. It
Right.
was insane.
Now
Yeah.
in Tennessee, were you guys declared essential workers, or was you guys was
Um, no, everyone was off for a little bit. Now, at that
okay?
point, I was working, in 20, I was working for a realtor, but in
Okay.
21 is when I got my license during that time.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
But they did work after, I think they had a few weeks off and then they were working.
Gotcha.
So,
Because we were able to, in Nebraska, they declared us essential, so we got to work straight through. But it was a crazy time, and
mhm,
but we didn't have anything. I mean, you know, it was it was a crazy time in terms of just I've never seen anything like that where you'd have people lined up outside the house. What's kind of
right.
the craziest story that you can think of from COVID wise that, like what's the most offers you've seen on a property? I mean,
Oh,
Nashville was a big draw for folks.
yeah, it was. I will tell you, as you're saying that, we had this adorable open house on this cute little house in a neighborhood about 20 minutes from downtown,
Mhm.
and it was June. And so, things were kind of starting to open up and everything.
Right.
But, well, in Tennessee, I don't know how it was here, but, um, it was an adorable house. We priced it high, we priced it well, but, we had 120 people through the open house. It was like a frat party almost. I mean, it was crazy. Like, if I had my husband outside, I was like, "Go be a bouncer," but I think the energy was pent up so much
Wow.
that there was a function that people could go to, and everybody came out.
Right.
Now, we
Right.
served wine, cheese, and crackers too, so
Right. Right. Wow.
it was
That's
wild.
Yeah, that was something else. I mean, it was crazy times. And MHOH says I haven't moved in 34 years. I think I'm
Come to
overdue.
Nebraska. We have some great houses.
Exactly. Okay. Now, when you're coming back to Omaha, was there any unexpected costs or challenges during the relocation process?
No unexpected, but I will say, I heard the taxes were high, but I didn't have any idea what that really meant until we started looking, and I just tried to ignore it, but then once the first tax bill came, I was a little in shock. So taxes were a lot higher,
Right.
and insurance is higher than there. I mean, significantly higher on taxes,
Now,
but we have great schools, right? So,
that's true too. Now,
mhm.
on a house, let's say a $500,000 house in Nashville, what would be the tax bill on, or let's say a $300,000 house is maybe a $500,000 house in Nashville. I don't know, but what would
Yeah,
be the tax?
probably. Um, well, I can tell you the last house I sold was 1,200,000 and it was like 3,500 or
Wow,
435 to 4,000. I
a
mean, it was
million
amazing.
two, a million two, and
Yeah.
$3,500 tax bill.
Now, but I don't know if at that point, once it's sold, it's going to get reappraised. You know what I mean? By this,
Yeah,
the taxes will probably go up, but
right.
yeah.
Wow, that's
So where here, a $600,000 house might be 11,000 in Elkhorn.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's yeah. So that was a shock. And then what about the insurance wise? How did the
Insurance,
insurance?
yeah. A lot higher here, which, I gotta tell you, when we were living in Nashville, I took cover more from tornadoes there than I ever did here growing up. I mean, it was crazy. We had tornadoes, we had floods,
Right.
I mean, we had a bomb, there was a lot that was going on there. So
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
that I don't quite understand the insurance because I know the tornado, like I had to get a new roof right before we moved from
Mhm.
a big storm,
Right.
a windstorm. So I feel like it's probably going to catch up there too a little bit with the insurance.
Right. Right. No, I get it. Now you talked about being in social work and I got your degree in social work. How do you handle the emotional side of starting over in a new place? Is there anything that in terms of advice for folks on that side of it? Anything they can
Hmm.
do to prepare on that?
Well, I always talk about self care, and preparing and knowing and verbalizing and talking about it. Right, that it's a real, like what you said. It's one of the top stressors. It's a really stressful. So be prepared because otherwise you're not. It's hard if you're not aware and ready for it. And
Right.
so with my people, my clients, I try to talk to them about that, especially if, and I have worked with a lot of people that in Nashville, I worked with a lot of people that were moving from out of state in town.
Okay.
And I feel like in some sense, that's probably where my sweet spot is just because I've moved so many times
Right.
from out of state, from state to state.
Yep. Nope. Zaritha's helping me. It's Zarintha.
Bertha,
Okay. Okay.
that's pretty.
Okay. And then let's see. James says, in the Midwest, do you believe that housing will be avoided since Trump's administration because Nebraska was really cheap due to weather and insurance costs and will be avoided? I'm not
Do you
sure if
believe the housing, I
will
don't, do you mean The drop in housing prices or?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, James. If
Mhm,
because yeah, 'cause, I mean, the insurance cost is really high, and the taxes are high just because it's Nebraska. But
mhm,
I mean, our property prices,
mhm,
the values itself. I'm not quite. Yes, okay. He says yes. Okay, um, will be avoided. I don't think. I mean, we're seeing people come into the state. We're getting a lot of people. We're over 1 million people now, so I think that's um, going to bring more people in. And then we have like the data centers and the Facebook data center came in and the Google data center. So we're seeing a lot of growth within the city. So I don't think people are going to. I think we get over. I think we've been overlooked for a long time. Would you agree with that, Sam?
mhm.
You know.
Yes, I would totally agree with it. I think Omaha's such a cute city. Um, what you were saying about wasn't Omaha just recently voted like one of the top real estate markets in the country?
I know the hottest real estate market in the
Yeah,
country, and
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, and we don't get the high highs and the low lows. Like even during the Great Recession, we didn't have. I mean, it took a longer time for the home to sell, but we didn't
Hmm.
see, a big crash or anything like that. It took longer to, it seemed like homes stayed stagnant. And a lot of
Hmm.
folks didn't have equity at the time. But the thing nowadays, everybody's has so much equity now, and then there's a lot of folks
Hmm.
out there that are buying that are cash, things like that.
Hmm.
So, um,
And that's what we saw there, which contributed to the pricing because people would come in from California
okay,
and pay cash. So you're
yep,
waiving appraisals and you're making cash offers 100, 200,000 over ask. So all the
right,
prices went up.
yep,
And
and
so people have so much equity with and higher interest rates. So to his question though, I think I feel like our inventory, as long as it stays low, prices aren't going to drop really, right?
right,
Because anytime a house comes on, it's like
right. I
throwing
mean,
chum in the water.
if it's priced right, it's gonna sell. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, it's what Sam, what do you think is the biggest differences between life in Nashville and life in Omaha?
I mean, it's funny because I should have all this stuff, but I don't. My life was pretty boring and simple. So I didn't go down to Broadway that much. In fact, when everyone came, I'd go down and have lunch and have one drink, and then I'd be like, "Go ahead and Uber home."
Yeah,
So my life's kind of the same. I go out to eat, I go run in the park, I do my thing. I mean, and that's what my kids said. They're like, "Mom, you're not going to miss it," because I mean, I'm not down there at the Ryman every week.
well, and then
I
here's the
mean, it
other
was
thing
fun.
too. When you're in real estate, even no matter where you go, you're doing real estate wherever you're at. Where it's like
Yeah.
you're on your phone, you're working deals and things
Hmm.
like that. So now, what are the? Now this kind of goes back to the what we. What do you miss about Nashville?
Oh, I mean, there were some great restaurants. I mean, and there's great restaurants here too. Like we just ate at Clio on Sunday and it was really good. You know, you know what I miss
Um,
is the only thing I miss is that people wanted to come. We had so much company because they wanted to see
right.
Nashville. And so we'd
Yeah.
see all of that. But we see all these people now anyway because we live
Right.
here. But what I miss is the thought, even though I didn't do it, the thought that I could run downtown and see a concert if I wanted to.
Right.
I did it some, but not that much.
Right. Yeah. That's. Hey, Clark is in the house. All right. Hey, Clark. All right. Thanks for stopping
Hi,
by, Clark.
Clark.
um, Now, what do you appreciate more about the Midwest than you did before you left?
Oh, the friendly people. I have to be honest. It's yeah, that's what I missed. I missed it when I was gone, but when I came back, I'm like, it's just so nice to be
Right.
around people that are
Yeah.
nice.
I think there's something to that. How would you compare the cost of living, lifestyle, and pace between Nashville and Omaha?
I mean, I feel like it's pretty similar, honestly. I
Okay.
mean, I mean, traffic here is the same as there. I mean, the big difference are housing costs, taxes, and insurance. Those are the big costs. Everything else seems the same.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, we're getting our airport to be international here soon, right? Is it
Yes,
Omaha? Yes.
yeah,
So, I
yeah,
mean, it's still, there's not many direct flights to where I want to go, but
right.
no, I know it sounds crazy and people watching this are probably gonna be like, what? But there's not a huge difference. This winter was so mild. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get snow until February, which is
Right.
really odd, and then
And
we
you
got
better
some
believe I
snow.
was texting my kids every time it snowed in Nashville and say, we still haven't gotten snow.
Well, and then I had a client fly in this Sunday, and I picked him up from the airport, and he said, "Boy, your airport." He's from New York City. He goes, "Your airport is so adorable." And then he was shocked by the lawnmowers. He's like, it's really quiet, but I hear all of these lawnmowers. He was really shocked uh, by the lawnmower. So that was a lot of fun. So
What, was he staying at a hotel?
no, he was just at the house. I picked him up from the airport. He
Oh,
was just in to see a house and then go right back to the
okay.
airport. And then while we're at the house, he called his wife and he said, it's really a quiet neighborhood, but there's all of these people out mowing their yard. I need to go buy a lawnmower. So
Well,
it's things
funny.
like
Is
that
he
you don't
buying it?
even. Yeah, oh yeah, he bought it. He loved
Oh,
it. So
good.
yeah, he's excited about it. So let's see. I-80 through Omaha is one of the most beautiful highways in the U.S.
That's cool. Hey,
All
that
right.
goes out all the way through Nebraska to
Yeah,
Shelton,
we
to
we we
North Platte.
we talked about this, and that is, I'm one of those Omaha people that anything west of Lincoln might as well be.
Hmm.
I call that Western Nebraska. That's not true, is it, Sam?
No, Dave said I was from Western Nebraska. I had to correct him and tell him it's South Central
Okay.
because
Uh,
Nebraska and Omaha thinks the state stops on the edge of Lincoln, or Nebraska and Lincoln thinks it stops in Lincoln.
exactly. The further, you go to Memorial Stadium, and that's the western part. If you miss the what is that, the 10th Street exit, then you're
Oh,
going.
funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What about, because you were licensed in Nashville and then um, licensed in Nebraska. Are there
Mhm.
any differences in buyer expectations or seller expectations between the two markets so far? Have you ever been able to detect a
No,
difference?
no, I think everybody hires a realtor because they want someone to advocate for them. They want them to write a contract. They want them to negotiate the repairs, their appraisal. I don't see any difference at all. And I mean, in fact, it's it feels the only difference right now is the trying to figure out the paperwork. Nebraska has a lot
Right.
of different paperwork. And so, but it's like almost like you're just dropped in, you start working. It's the same thing. I mean, realtors there are super nice though, I will say that.
All right, terrific. Let's see. Um, what surprised you most about Omaha when you returned, or the Midwest when you returned?
Um, this is going to sound so bizarre because I have family here. I came back every year for 30 years. But when you come in, you land in the airport, or you drive in, you go to their house, and you don't leave, right? Unless you're going to see friends. I really didn't know about all the hills out here in Elkhorn towards Gretna. I didn't know
Right.
about the different lakes.
Yep.
I mean, it's a really pretty little area,
Right.
like
Yeah.
I love Zorinsky. I love standing there. There's
Yeah.
some great lakes here with
Well,
trails around it.
and they've had to put in those lakes because of the flooding, in order to control
Mhm.
flooding. And I don't know if you've seen the video footage from just a couple days ago. Did you see when Saddle Creek
Oh, yeah.
flooded? I
Mhm.
was like, man, gosh. I mean, it was like, you know, it was like a full blown. I mean, it's the name of the road is
Road.
Saddle Creek, and then there's the little thing that shows you how deep the water is, and then there was a dumpster. I mean, this doesn't sound very, but there was a video footage of a dumpster floating down the street, and I told my wife, I'm like, oh, that'd have been good video for the channel, but okay.
I mean, that was crazy because that car was just driving and all of a sudden it was like floating. And I mean, I feel bad for the people because I'm sure they had no idea.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like, and that happened. I mean, we get some crazy. I mean, the Papio Creek will really fill up after a rainstorm. If we didn't have those lakes, we would have a lot of issues with that, with the flooding. I mean, I think people are
Mhm.
surprised. Like, and there was a couple of years ago, and this, I don't know, this might have been um, right around about 4 or 5 years ago. There was flooding downtown where somebody was trapped in there in an elevator downtown, and they were live streaming it from the inside of this elevator, and it was like that water was neck deep in this elevator. I'm like, what in the world are you doing? Get out of there,
Oh my
But
gosh, no,
yeah,
I
it
didn't know
was
that.
it was
Well, and Fremont flooded a few years ago pretty bad, wasn't that? Was like maybe 2 or 3 years
yes,
ago?
yep.
Yeah.
And the Platte River flooded, and yeah, that was Fremont was like a little island, and the going out
Mhm.
there. Um, that okay. Zaretha has a what kinds of hoops do you need to jump through to get a driver's license? And how expensive are custom plates? They are insanely expensive in Texas. Any words to that as far as
Well,
the
I'll
driver's
let you
license?
talk about custom paints, but, the
Yeah.
driver's license was shockingly easy.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
oh my gosh, so when I was back, this is in Nashville, my son
Okay.
had lost his driver's license before his 21st birthday, so I was back, I'm like, "I'll take you to go get it."
Right.
2.5 hours later,
Okay.
we were getting his license.
Wow.
That's just yeah. Here, by the time I was walking out, I had an appointment, but I didn't even sit down. I was already out, and I was out of the building before my appointment time was supposed to start.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
it's a well-oiled machine here.
there you go. Okay. Well, that that's I mean, I know they have you can send in for your renewal. You can do it via
Mhm.
mail. And it's the gone are the days. I mean, there's really no place more demoralizing than going to the DMV.
No,
Or it used to be.
no.
It's like there. I don't think any. Sometimes it's almost kind of fun going to the DMV to see how unhappy people are there. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't get out much. So okay,
Oh,
let's
funny.
see. Clark says, "Have you seen many more moving to Nebraska from Tennessee?" I thought I got to say that.
No, Clark, I no, and I know you missed it. People were giving me such a hard time, like, "Why am I moving to Nebraska?" And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
"Well, number
was.
1, it's my home state, and number 2, it's actually really beautiful." But no, I don't know anybody.
Yeah, there's not a big. Yeah, there's not. No, but there's. It seems like more people. We have a net loss of people. Believe it, we as a state leaving, and that's the brain drain. People graduate from
Mhm,
college and then decide to leave, and they're trying to do things to make folks entice them to stay. Okay,
mhm,
but we'll see how that goes. But that's a good question there. Let's see. So,
yeah,
you know what? We have to. Okay, let me go back in the chat. It's Zerintha says Houston had horrible flooding fairly regularly too. I've heard about that. Yeah, Houston.
yeah.
Yeah, that's. Um, Zaritha says, "Lovely. I lived in places where you need multiple PhDs to understand the process." Now, speaking about that, the
Mhm.
taxes in Nebraska. What's your thought process on the real estate taxes? That process. Any words of wisdom on the amount of
Oh, no, that is the craziest thing. So they say, okay, it's paid in arrears. I mean, I will say this. I think if anyone's moving in from out of state, they need to have someone explain clearly about the taxes because it does not make sense. And I called the tax department, I called the title company, I called everyone to have them explain to me, and everyone had a different way of explaining it. And I can't even really explain it myself, except that it sounds like they're billing from 2020 for 2024, you're really paying 2023. So even if I move in 2024, I was paying 2023 taxes. But
oh
when I move, then I won't pay the year I live here. So I'm like, I'm never moving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you try to explain it to somebody who's coming into town, and it's like they're like, why am I paying 2024 taxes
Yeah.
when I didn't even live here?
Yep.
And 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 on the contract, inside of the contract, it says that those taxes are treated as current year taxes for the sake
Yes.
of the purchase agreement. And that's what people, and you know, the purchase agreement is in Nebraska is 12 pages long, and it's in that paragraph, but people don't
Yeah.
read the contract or anything. you know,
But I will tell you, because it's just David or Douglas and Sarpy
right, right.
counties, right? So I do think it's our job as realtors to at least point it out. Say, hey,
Yes,
I just want you to know,
because it
especially if
is.
you have a cash buyer.
Oh, because and it's 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 hard to explain it to folks. It's really
Hmm.
hard to explain it, and it's hard to understand. I don't
Hmm.
know. And nowadays they just passed that tax reform to where they gave us a little bit of a break on our property taxes, but then there was a little glitch that where they have to fix that little gap in the year or whatever. I don't quite understand it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it just if you're relocating to Omaha or Douglas and Sarpy County, just know the taxes are going to be it's going to be hard to understand. So MHOA,
Oh yeah.
we found multiple PhDs in Nebraska. Okay.
Hey, I was gonna say, I feel like whoever owns Chick-fil-A, is it Chick-fil-A that has the drive-through going like crazy? That's who needs to run the DMVs, right?
Yeah, yeah, that
I
would be really
mean, like they
efficient.
know how to get the process going.
Yeah, no, that's so in
Oh,
MHO8 says we pay in arrears in Colorado. So for you guys in Colorado, it's crazy as well in terms of that goes. Is your okay? Gotcha. Um, uh, what? Let's see. What are my list of questions here? What advice would you give someone considering a move to Omaha?
well, I would tell them to look at all the different areas. There are so many cute little pockets here that people don't even know about or talk about, right? And
Right.
I think here's a shout out for Dave that when I was moving here, I Googled, even though I'd lived here, been from Nebraska, I Googled and came up on one of his YouTube videos. And I think, I don't remember what you're talking about, maybe the different areas, but I was like, oh, so I think just keep your mind open. Like people hear about Elkhorn if you want to be
Right.
out or Gretna or whatever. But there's so many cute little pockets in town too.
It,
Um,
and that's
that
really
I would,
yeah, that's a great point. I mean, because I had clients where it's like, guys, there's little pockets, and you'll be like Country Club or Happy Hollow or Dundee.
mhm,
There is just some
mhm,
beautiful homes in those areas, and
mhm,
um, yeah, it's really fun to see. And
mhm.
you go a couple blocks over, a completely different price point,
Right. Mhm.
completely different style of home. You can be one street or another, and it'll be a totally different market. It's really, I think that is an excellent point. I didn't know if
Mhm.
you know this, Sam, but did you know Dundee was? I think that I'm kind of a history nut, so I like history and stuff like that. But Dundee was actually bombed during World War II. Believe it or not,
No.
in Japan, they released these bombs on helium balloons, and they got caught up in the jet stream, and then they went so far, and then they would just release naturally wherever they was trying to start fires or whatnot. But one of them landed in Dundee, and there's a little plaque that in Dundee that says, it's a little historical plaque that I'm gonna find it interesting because I'm just a history nerd, but I think it's kind of
That
cool.
is super interesting.
Yeah,
Did any of you, did any of the people in the chat know that?
I don't know. A lot
That's
of
what I'm curious about.
did anybody? Hey, okay. Let's see. Fred Fred Sacco. Fred Sacco is a friend of mine. He is from the Five Heart podcast. you know, what about Nebraska? What about Nebraska fans in Tennessee? What do they think of Nebraska football in Tennessee? Because what do they think about
That's a
anything?
question from
Yeah,
you, Dave?
yeah,
Oh my gosh. Down in Tennessee, it's all about the SEC. They don't
right,
think Big Ten, Big A, and back in the day, football exists. It's
right,
only SEC. They're the only ones that know football.
right. But Fred is a friend of mine. He's from the Five Heart. There's a we have a there's a YouTube channel out by the name of Corn Nation, and I actually brought it up here. Hang on just a second here. Uh, the Corn Nation. So if you ever want to talk, if you ever want to know about Nebraska fans, and Fred is one of these folks on Corn Nation. It's a lot of fun. So, but tune in. They're a lot of fun.
When's his show on? When's
It's
it
on
on?
Thursdays at 9 p.m. and it goes from. It's just a bunch of Nebraska fans talking about Nebraska football, but it's really good. It's a fun channel because it's a guy by the name of John Johnston, and he's just a lot of fun. And Fred is one of the frequent commenters, and it it's a lot of fun. But anyway, that's way off topic. But Fred, thank you for stopping by, Fred. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. All right. Yeah, of all the SEC teams,
Oh,
I legit don't mind Tennessee. Okay, they're a good program and they seem respectful versus a lot of other teams. I can see that.
yes, yeah. What about Vanderbilt, Fred? He's
Which I
like, okay,
thought it
I'm
was
checking out.
what I thought was funny was when did you ever watch those SEC shorts? Have you ever seen those
Hmm.
videos when Vanderbilt beat Alabama this last year? Oh, it was funny, but
Hmm. But Vanderbilt beat Tennessee
Gloria,
3 times. Who
Gloria,
put Gloria?
Gloria Vanderbilt.
Oh, funny. Hey, Vanderbilt beat Tennessee 3 times in a row.
Is that right? Well,
Yeah, in the
we
last
we've been
so
kind
many
of
years.
suffering as far as we've been not kind of like we've been 20 years lost wandering in the desert in terms of Nebraska
Yeah.
football. So, okay, let's see. Clark says my team is the South Carolina Gamecocks. Okay, I'm surprised.
Clark, there
Clark,
was a Colorado. Who was from Colorado? MH80?
yeah, MHO8. Yeah, he's from
Oh,
Colorado. Now,
wait.
oh,
Okay.
let's see what he says. Even though I love Colorado, I'm not a Buffs
Not a
fan yet.
Buffs fan.
Yeah, glad you're not. We might have to ban you from the channel. No, I'm just kidding, but
No.
no, that's
Oh,
all
that's
good.
funny.
Let's see. Zaretha grew up in Illinois where a house was bordered on two sides by cornfields. I
Oh.
missed the corn. All right, awesome. All right, and then
Hey, you can come back here. We all live by cornfields. They made that computer the Commodore. You know a lot about Vanderbilt. You're throwing out the Commodore.
yeah,
What is it? Anchor
Fred,
down or no,
Fred's
yes,
old
anchor
school.
down. Oh, you're
Yep,
moving
yep, she is.
to Illinois?
No, to Nebraska. So she's on her way to Nebraska. So that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
And I've been banned from better. We're not banning anybody. All right, terrific. Let's see.
Oh, funny. Mm.
We kind of talked about this. What do relocating buyers often misunderstand about Omaha?
Well, I think people have a let's get your viewers to talk about it. The misconception
Okay.
that it's just this cow town. Like, that it's not like a mid-major city. Like, I was surprised to read it was the 55th largest city in the US. I
Right.
had no idea. And, I mean, there's great little restaurants downtown. I love to go downtown Omaha.
I,
Just walk around the old market,
and,
eat.
and the way they redid the
Mhm.
riverfront and the riverfront, the Gene Leahy Mall. And yeah, that's
Yep.
a good question for the chat. What is your perception of Omaha or the Midwest? If you want to put that in the chat, let's see what people's perception is of. of Omaha.
Because I think it's such a hidden gem. I really do. I think
I
it's
agree.
like, I mean, Nashville was undervalued, and in 10 years, the prices, doubled and shot up. And I really think, the affordability, back to when you were saying about all these companies that were moving in,
Hmm.
that's what happened in Nashville during the time. And what happened was people started not moving and working online because no one could afford the housing. So
Right.
we had all these Amazon people coming, all these different people, and a lot of people just stayed back in there and worked remote because
Yep.
they were like, we can't afford it.
Yeah. No, we got a lot of remote workers, and there's a lot of they're calling us now the Silicon Prairie. Okay, let's see what.
Silicon Prairie.
Yeah, Zarita
Oh,
says
have
yes. The house
some
will be listed on Monday. All right, excellent. Okay.
good.
MOH says Omaha's a cool little
Aw,
city. All right, all right. Yep. Let's see, Four Seasons, gorgeous scenery, snow, cool summers compared to Houston. That's a good
yeah.
qualifier there compared to Houston because it's August can be pretty brutal, but it's not. I had a guest on from Arizona. It's not
Mm,
Arizona hot, where it's
mm-mm.
like the surface of the sun hot. Clark says cold and windy. Yeah, hey, Clark.
Clark, are you from South Carolina?
Clark is from Atlanta. So Clark is
Oh,
from Atlanta. So he's a realtor out of Atlanta, Georgia. So, hey, everybody, do me a favor and go over to Clark's channel. And Clark is really close to 1,000 subs. So if you could, he puts out some great content. He's always supports the chat and everything. So go ahead and hit Clark up with a sub. So that'd be awesome. I hope I don't get. I can't get. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. Do I, Clark? Do I get in trouble for that? I hope. I guess YouTube will find out. Okay, Zaritha says Houston has August from May
yeah,
to November. Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's
I lived in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and it would be, although Nebraska had 80s in October this year when I was here, but
sure.
it was like I want to put a sweater on, and it was so hot in Las Cruces. I don't
Wow.
know if Houston's probably hotter, more humid by
Yeah.
far,
Oh, I
obviously,
would think
because
that'd be
desert.
really humid. Um, let's see. I live in Atlanta,
Yeah.
Georgia. Yep. Yep. Okay, and then thanks, David. I appreciate it. Nope, you won't get in trouble. So, hey, everybody, go hit Clark's channel. After the stream. Yeah, we don't keep.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah. Okay, Zaritha says very humid in the 90s from May to November. Wow. Yeah. I've had a lot of folks where they relocate, and I'm kind of like, when I'm thinking January, I'm like, how are they survive? I'm like, oh boy, and I warn
Yeah.
them, but I've had a couple folks. I had some folks last fall that relocated from Panama City, and they showed me the house they moved from. It was this beautiful house on the water, and I'm like, and you're moving to Bellevue, But they were but they're thrilled, and they love Fontenelle Forest, and they
Yeah.
love the seasons. They like the change in
Hmm.
seasons and stuff. And then they were saying how I didn't even know this down south. Maybe Clark, you can confirm this, but there's they have to power wash the exterior of their home to keep the mold from growing. I wasn't even aware of that.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's like
And when you're by the water, the sea salt
yeah,
spray, the
and
paint, like they're repainting their houses and
yeah, no, that's let's see. Plus the photochemical smog in Houston in the summer. Yeah, that would be no good. Um, let's see. Zaritha says I will need to buy winter clothes. I'm not unhappy about that. I'm
hey,
not.
Village Point Mall has some really cute places.
Okay, Village Point Mall. There you go. I'm the last person you go to like clothes shopping.
Village Point.
Yep. Okay. Just dress in
Just raised.
layers. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Um, when it
So let's
snows,
see.
how does a city handle the cleanup? That's a good question. I think they do a fairly decent job. Okay. Now this is the world according to David, but I guess I don't know. Sam, what do you think? How do you think this past season? Like we didn't get our snow until February, but how do you feel they do cleaning up the streets?
I didn't leave my house. was like, I'm not used to this. I'm not leaving.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
but it was gone in 2 days, right? So they must have done a
Exactly.
good job.
Yeah, it's like,
I I will tell you, I lived in Minneapolis, and that
okay,
was a machine. I mean, it would be
is that
snow,
right?
snow was gone, snow. I mean,
Wow.
so, but like
Okay.
in Tennessee, if we got a brush of snow or ice, the place was shut down.
Is that right? Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
I
think they
think
do well here.
I think they do pretty good. They pre-treat the streets with that brine solution, and I think that does okay. Now, some of the side streets, I think what the other thing
Hmm.
people don't get about Omaha is a lot more hillier than what people think.
Yeah.
So if you gotta, you know, and but I, if you have a real drive car, then you're not going anywhere with a rear wheel drive car. Front wheel drive does okay, but they do a pretty good job of clearing the main streets, in my opinion. I think they do pretty well. Now,
Hmm.
here's the deal though. What about potholes? Do you guys have the condition of the roads in Omaha versus Nashville? How are the roads like our potholes are terrible.
Ours were too, for
Okay, you guys,
sure.
because it's like
Yeah.
sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
it's like you're crossing the Oregon Trail. It's like, it's like, and
Yeah.
the last person on earth I would want to be is the mayor, because talk about just
Hmm.
a thankless job, because
Hmm.
everybody complains about the streets, and that some of that you just can't help because the weather patterns, the ice melts, it gets into the cracks and it's going to expand. And then Zarit says, not in Manus too. Yeah, yeah, okay. That Clark says, yes, you want to power wash the house because not to get green mold on them. Okay, yeah, there's no, you don't, that's one good thing that you don't have to do here is power wash the house, you know.
But you got to
Um,
shove the snow off the roof, don't you?
I don't.
Do you? You know?
No, I don't. I mean, we don't. I mean, it melts pretty quick. It seems like,
Yeah.
MH says Minneapolis was even better before they changed the plowing schedule in '85. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Oh, did you live in Minneapolis, MH08? I loved it there. We lived by Lake Harriet.
is
God,
that
it was
right?
such a wonderful place. Yeah. But that
Well,
was years and years ago.
as a kid, we'd go up to Fergus Falls, going,
Mhm.
fishing at the Otter Tail Lake. I enjoyed that. Yes, the city shuts down here too with a coat of snow or ice on the ground. Yep.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Denver doesn't shut down, but it should. It should.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Ben, he's another agent here at Nebraska Realty. I hate shoveling snow. Yeah. Okay, let's see. MOH says we used to have to
Um,
clear our roof in Minnesota. Okay, yep, yep. Um, okay, and Yepers. I also
oh,
carry it near now. I don't know how to say that, but okay,
Donchano.
yeah, cool,
Uh-huh.
awesome.
Oh, is it now called Donchano? Is that they did they change the name? Because I know they changed Lake Calhoun's name. But I love the Lake Harriet area and all the running trails around it and everything.
Okay, okay. And then Omaha's definitely hilly in some spots. Yeah, I mean it's that's it's great. It's deceptive how hilly it is. Yeah.
That was a big surprise to me, I said. I mean, because I grew up in Shelton, out South
Mhm.
Central Nebraska, Dave, and
Yeah.
flat. Like
Yeah.
the only hill you would get would be over an overpass, right? And
Is that
so
right?
moving
Okay.
here, yeah, I was like, oh, like I didn't see our house before we bought it. Everybody
Is
else in my family did. I saw just pictures
oh
and video. And so when
oh
I
you
got
bought
here,
it
I was like,
sight
oh,
unseen.
there's all, yep.
Okay, tell us
My
about
my
that.
husband, no, but my husband saw it, my kids saw it, everybody saw it.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
I didn't wanna move twice. So I was like,
right.
"We're
Okay,
just buying." And it's a 3rd
okay.
house we bought where I didn't see it.
Is
And
that
he
right?
picks out great houses, but he doesn't have good
Okay,
photography skills.
okay. Because
So,
yeah, because any advice on buying a house sight unseen, that's a great
yeah,
point.
don't do it. I mean, unless you really unless you really trust your spouse,
Okay,
because
okay.
I mean, I love my house. I'm happy with it and all that, but I had no idea really where it was located.
Okay.
I mean, I could look on Google Maps, but I
Right.
didn't really know. So,
Well,
but no,
yeah, yeah, that is really nerve wracking when you have a client that's buying a house sight unseen, and that's why my client this weekend flew out from
yeah.
New York City, because it's like, hey, let's look at it in person. I mean, it's
Hmm.
there's always, you do a Zoom call with somebody. It's kind of like, yeah, and
Yeah.
then let's see, that's what you had. I don't know what that. Okay, let's see. Oh, that. Okay, let's see. That's why I had to get a four by
Okay.
four. So, okay, Ben got a 4x4. Let's see. No, no, no. Don Chano. Is that how? Okay. All right. Oh, this is a good point. Ben says, "Don't use salt on your driveway." Thanks for letting me know last winter, David. Yes, you're welcome, because if you use salt, that'll eat that up. I mean, you'll see people
The
put,
concrete, will it hit
yeah,
it?
yeah, it'll
Okay.
pit it out and stuff. So yeah, that's a good. Uh, Thanks for sharing that. So um, yeah, and then every
Yeah,
winter you want
thanks.
to make sure that if you're selling a vacant house in the winter in Omaha, to make sure to have it winterized, because one time I had a client that moved out of state, and they did winterize uh, didn't winterize the house, and then the furnace broke, and then the pipes burst. And then I got a
Oops.
call from the neighbor saying, "Hey, there's water running out of the driveway." And the
Oh
entire
no.
upstairs was flooded. And yeah, so it's like, if you're ever selling a vacant house, make sure you have
Hmm.
it winterized, because that can, um, yeah, be a disaster. Okay. And then let's see, Minnesotaism. Okay. Let's see. I knew one woman who used table
Oh,
salt on her exterior stairs. Okay.
how'd that work?
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else that let's see here. Um, what Sam, let me ask you this now that you're back. Oh, let's see. Okay, she said it didn't. Okay, so you guys heard it. We don't use table salt on your steps. Okay. Sam, since you've been back, is there any favorite restaurant or favorite place in Omaha that you're like, you know what, I really like that place? Is there any little hidden gems that you're aware of that you're like,
Yes.
okay,
Okay,
tell
so all you guys want to come to Omaha? No. Um, Downtown, I love Clio
okay,
and I love the little park and all that. But out here in Elkhorn, have you
uh-huh.
eaten at Backlot Pizza?
At what? At,
Backlot Pizza?
I have not.
Backlot.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
it's
yes, I
funny.
do. Yes, it's on the movie theater. It's in the movie theater.
Yes,
Yes,
it's
yes,
connected to the movie theater, but it's the
yes.
best food. And someone told me that. I'm like, "What?" And I've gone 3
I've
times.
been
It's
there.
so good.
Yes. I
Mhm.
went there for research for my
Yeah.
channel, and then I got to go
Uh-huh.
back for more research. But you're because they have the Chicago pizza.
Do you want me to
Yeah,
research it with you? No.
yeah. Because I do a lot of channel research where it's like, well, if I'm gonna,
Mm,
go somewhere, I gotta go make sure it's legit, and that's legit
yeah.
pizza. But I
Yes,
don't.
and then downtown Elkhorn, I think is so cute. They have a
It
cute
is.
little wine bar, Main
Yep.
Street Cellars. Super
Okay.
cute, rooftop. I don't know, they're cute little local shops down there. I think it's really adorable.
What about the little house that has all the plants around it? Have you seen that little place? That gal that has all the crazy plants, that she has her whole yard.
In downtown?
In downtown Elkhorn, it's about a block. Oh, I don't know what the place is called. I went there, and it was like she just has it all decked out with all these little plants, and she sells plants and gizmos, and
Oh,
um,
no, I don't know this.
yeah,
Yeah, you'll have to.
I'll
Mm.
but yeah, um, yeah, it's a block west of the main street. It's one block west.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So towards, like, Zoo is it Nukes?
Uh,
Jukes.
I think it's
That's
just
a really cute place.
I think it's just let's see. I think it's just one block and then one block north. I'll have to
Okay.
I'll have to do a video on it, or
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah.
bad video on a back lot, please.
Hey, also Dundee, Lola's, super cute.
Okay.
And that's also connected to a movie theater. There must be
Yeah.
a theme here.
Okay, let's see.
No, and the other thing I think I said was like the parks. I mean, is it Chalco? Is that how you say
Yep.
it?
Yep.
Cute little walking trails, Zorinsky, Standing Bear, Flanagan. I mean, they're all nice. Feel
And they're
safe. I feel 100% safe going out there.
loaded with deer. Have you noticed that?
Hmm.
If you walk around, and
Yeah.
those things are tame. I mean, you can get like
Yeah.
10 feet away and they're just standing there looking at you like, hey, what
Yes.
are you doing? But it's
Yeah.
really
Although I almost got attacked by geese today.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Which we had geese at our office in the little,
Yeah.
and they hatched and then went on their merry way or whatnot, but they come back. This is their second year of being here. It's really fun to watch those little geese. But they really, the papa goose, whatever, they're really defensive.
Protect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. I mean, I'm not joking today where it flew at me. I mean, I
is
was
that
quite
right?
aware I was aware. Like,
So we have attacking geese. So watch out for that. Yeah. Okay, let's see. LOL. I don't know. There's a Honduran restaurant on the south side. Okay.
oh.
Casey.
Hey, you must be from Nebraska, MH08. It's hilarious because they get pizza all the time.
I can kind of gauge my business to how much food I'm eating at a gas station.
Yeah.
If I'm eating a lot of food at a gas station, business is really good. So
I have to tell you what I love to eat. My husband's rolling his eyes at me constantly. I'm like, let's stop at Runza. I'm all about the Runza again.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Their fries are great and their burgers are great. Yeah, and
well, their onion rings and their Runzas are awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean, so it's like that's kind of a rite of passage when you relocate to Omaha.
And Zestos, everybody, you got to eat Zestos.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Sam, one final piece of advice you would give to someone thinking about relocating here?
To Omaha?
Yeah.
Well, hire Dave and I.
Exactly. There we go. All right. You're going to be a repeat guest.
Well, I think just really explore all the areas. That's what I think before you cut me off.
And if someone wanted to reach out to you, is that the correct?
Yep.
740-707-4406, and then they can find you on the. You're part of the loyalty group, correct?
Yep. At Nebraska Realty.
With Lori Ringel, so she's a great agent to be associated with. And, yeah, she's super nice. And well, I tell you what, Sam, I really appreciate being on tonight's program. Any other last words of wisdom or anything else that?
No, but thanks everyone for popping in the chat. That was fun. I didn't expect that.
and Clark. Oh. Clark says, good show tonight. Thank you, Clark. And then MOH says, got a Runza or two. Oh, I didn't know they had Colorado Runza.
I didn't either.
So they're expanding. So that's terrific. Well, Sam, I tell you what, I really appreciate you being on the program.
Thank you.
And we learned a lot and had a great time. So I just thank you for being on the program. And again, if anybody wants to reach out to you, they can reach out to you directly and that sort of thing. So, and again,
thank you.
Appreciate it. And then, but anyway, I appreciate it. I'll let you go because I told you we'll keep you for just an hour. So I know you're very busy and you got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to hold you to that. And then, but I appreciate you being on the stream tonight.
All right.
And thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Well, I tell you what, it was a lot of fun tonight, and let's see. MOH says Long Mountain Fort been here for years. Okay, interesting. All right, everybody. Well, again, appreciate everybody stopping by tonight. Had a great time. It was fun having Sam on the program. And again, do me a favor, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, do go ahead and Zaretha, I can't wait to meet you as well. So that'd be great. That's awesome. So I'm excited to have your home on the market, and let's get that thing sold. So keep that going, and we'll find you a place as well. So anyway, everybody, well, I appreciate everybody tonight being on the stream. And let's one more comment here. Let's see. Buying my house sight unseen is what I'm doing now with David. He does a pretty good job with those videos showing. Well, I know who Cam is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Cam. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. So yep. Okay. Um, yep. Karen from yep. Nope. I got it. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being stopping by, everybody. I appreciate it. And then, like I said, if you want to reach out to me, I got one of these. Let's see. Do I have one of my own little my in the description is my name and number and everything. You know that. So it's 402-490-6771. I can actually enter that. Let's see. Add banner. There it is. There's my number. Okay, I did that on the fly. Well, everybody, I tell you what, I appreciate it. Everybody, you have a good night and you make it a great day. We'll tune in next week. We'll have another show. Thanks again. Bye-bye.